My name is Leticia Davis. I'm a resident of Exeter, and I've testified a number of times to this committee over the many years, and I appreciate your tolerance in staying up late and letting me go ahead even though I'm the last one. I will not repeat what so many others have said, but I will merely state that I support Bill number 2134, 2148, and I oppose all of the others. And there's just a couple of, several things that I wanted to bring up that I haven't heard, and maybe that's because I was in the other hearing. Which incidentally, why on earth would the two hearings in the House Judiciary and this be scheduled at the same time? Because, you know, that must have been where I was earlier. It was, yeah, so. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, as I have testified in the past, I'm able to be here because my life was saved by a gun. So to me, a gun for self-defense is a very real thing. And I've heard testimony listening tonight about the costs of the health care for shooting victims, you know, and what a high value and cost to our society is. But what is the value of the people whose lives are saved? To me, that's a pretty high value that I'm still here, and I'm only here because of a gun. And so I think that most of the testimony I heard tonight was only looking at all the costs of guns, but it wasn't looking at the benefit side of it, and they are a benefit to society. Now, I took a home defense course, and the policeman who taught the course said an AR-15 was the most effective firearm for home defense, and I intend to get one of these days. I haven't done it yet. When we talk about, I guess, the red flag bills and talk about the issue of basically taking the guns away and the due process comes later. I feel like we did that last year with the domestic violence bill. And I think due process is something like pregnancy. You can't be a little bit pregnant and you can't have a little bit of due process. You either have it or you don't. And once we start down that slippery slope, who decides whether it's important enough to just ignore the Constitution and ignore due process? Who decides? The other issue is who decides who's mentally ill? In mainstream media, I've heard recently that if you pray and you listen to God and you talk to God, that you're probably mentally ill. Well, in the old Soviet Union, what did they do with people they disagreed with? They called them mentally ill and they locked them up. So, you know, that's something I remember growing up. I also remember being told to get under my desk in case of a nuclear attack. I don't know what the lockdown procedure is at the schools, but to me, the visual, I didn't see it, of course, but the description of, you know, either a principal at Sandy Hook or a teacher and coach in the Florida shooting, having the only way to protect the students by using their body to block and give their life. To me, it's absolutely criminal that we set up a situation where they cannot defend themselves. It's just absolutely beyond me. So the only other issue I will bring up is on the background checks. As you all know, Exeter is the only town without a police department, and we do have to go through the FBI background checks. And the whole background check issue has been, you know, much under discussion lately because people seem to have been able to get guns when they shouldn't have. Well, some states aren't reporting into the database. Some military is not reporting into the database. Government institutions aren't reporting into the database. So if the background check database for all the instant checks isn't being populated by the whole country, it's not going to be accurate, and it's not going to pick up people who might have been caught, like I guess the guy in the Air Force. The Air Force had neglected to pass that information along. The other issue is the timeliness of it. It took me 3.5 months for an FBI check this summer to renew my CCW. And something, when you have that long of a delay, it's effectively a denial for that period of time. So if we're going to do something with background checks, there needs to be a requirement that it be done in a timely manner and not just be completely at the mercy of an institution that doesn't seem to care one single bit about how long it takes or how long you're waiting for it. And, well, I think that pretty much hits it. So thank you very much for letting me slip in there at the end.
Of course, no problem, and thank you for waiting. And again, thank everyone here for being so patient and sticking it out to the end.